Okay, today we're going to go over the practice problems you did on Module 1, Lesson 6. The objective was to compare decimal fractions to the thousands using like units and express comparisons with greater than, less than, or equal to. Now, B, what we're looking at here, is we have 83 hundredths and we have 83 hundredths here. So, by the decimal, I'm going to place it into the place value chart with 83 hundredths. And here I can see I have 100ths and I'm supposed to have 83 in it. Like here, 83. But I know I can't put 2 digits, so I have to put the 3 here, the 8 here. And you can see now that all of them are equal to each other. Both of them are equal. Our next one, once again, we're still going to use our place value chart. And I see it's 95 and, so I'm going to put 95 and 45 thousandths. In the bottom, I'm going to put 95 and 545. Now, as we go through and look, starting at the left, the tens are the same. The ones place value are the same. When we get to the tenths, that's where they're different. And we can see that the 5 is a larger one, but we're actually comparing this to the 5. So we know that 95 and 45 thousandths is less than 95 and 545. So we're going to put the less than in there. Our next problem, once again, we're just going to go ahead and put in our place value. The place value chart always tells us the truth. It's the best tool we could be using. The next one, we're putting 419 and 99. Now, most students right off the bat are going to say this one here is higher because it has more digits. That's wrong. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to fill in the extra digit. And we can see here the hundredths place are the same. The tenths place are the same. The ones place are the same. Now we get down here to 1/10. We can see the 1/10 here is larger. So that means 419 and 100 thousandths is greater than 419 and 99 thousandths. So this time we're going to put the greater than. But you can see this is 100 thousandths, where this is 99 thousandths. By making them exactly the same as far as how many digits, there's no doubt on which one's larger or smaller. Now we've got a word form, two different word forms. So we're going to start off and we're going to write in here, it says 36 and. So we know 36 and 9,000. So a 9 in the thousand spot, but I have to put the placeholders in. Now we're going to 4 tens. Okay. Well, I have 4 tens and I have to put zeros in the rest of them. Now we can see just by looking that we had 3 tens in the top number and 4 tens in the bottom number. So 3 tens is going to be less than 4 tens. So we're going to put the less than. Once again, now we have two different word forms. And the first one we're saying 104 and. So I know the 104 comes before the decimal because the decimal means and. 12 hundredths. Well, here's my hundredths. I can't put 12 in here, so I have to put the 2 in here and the 1 here. But this is still read as 12 hundredths. Now we're going to our second one. It says 104 and. So once again, I'll put in 104 and 2 thousandths. So I'm going to the thousandths, so I got to put 2 thousandths. And now I have to put my zeros in to fill up all the blocks. As we come and compare, same on the hundredths, same on the tenths, same on the ones. At the tenths, this is where they're different. So we're looking here. So this one here has a 1, this is 0, so this is a larger number. Now we have to go up and see what's comparing. We're actually comparing this one to the top number, so we know it has to be less than. In I, now we're doing word form to standard form. Doesn't matter, we're going to use the place value. We're going to turn it to standard form in order to compare them. 158 thousandths. Notice there's no and in there. It's 158 thousandths. So I know that's 158 thousandths. But I cannot put all those digits in there, so I have to put 8, 5, 1. And since it's a decimal fraction, I always want to put a 0 in front of it so we know it's less than a whole number. The next number we're going to put right underneath of it is 58 hundredths. But I want to make this 580 thousandths so I can compare them. Now here, the same because they're all 0. This one here is different. And we can see that the 5 is a larger number, larger digit in that place value. So we know that 158 thousandths is greater than, excuse me, wrong one. 158 thousandths is less than 58 hundredths. On question 2b, we're back to arranging numbers and increasing order. Increasing. That means we're starting at the bottom and we're going up. The least to the biggest. Okay? Increasing. So we're going to take all 4 of these and we're going to put them in the place value chart. And if they are not the same number of digits, we're going to put placeholders in order to make them the same. But in this instance, they are the same. So now, we're comparing the first one right here. They all have the same. We're comparing the ones place. They're all the same. We're comparing the tenths place. They're all the same. Now we're getting to the hundredths places. The first place are different. And we're going for increasing, so we're looking at the smallest digit. Now we can see we have a 1, a 4, a 0, and 0. These two right here are the lowest ones. So we still got to determine which one of these two is the lowest. So we go to the next place value, which happens to be the hundredths, and we see the smallest one is going to be the 0 digit. So we know that our lowest one is 14 and 200. Now that would make the next one 204 thousandths would be our second one, 14 and 204 thousandths. Now we've already eliminated these two, so now we're comparing these two. And we're going back to the hundredths place because we've already compared all the way to the tenths. And we're seeing that the 1 is the lowest one. So we're going to go 14 and 210. And I'm going to put that and in there. I put a comma in there before. And that leaves our last and highest number as 14 and 240,000. Okay, in question 3, we're comparing these numbers and we're looking for decreasing order. That means we went the largest to the smallest, and we're going to find our largest one first. So I'm going to start by writing the numbers down: 439 and 216,000, 439 and 126,000, 439 and 612,000, 439, 261,000. I forgot my and in there. Now we're looking for the largest, so we're going to start at the hundreds place value, and we can see all the digits are the same. In the tens, all the digits are the same. In the ones, all the digits are the same. In the 1/10, it's the first time we have different. And we're looking for the largest one. So we can see the largest digit right here is the 6. So we're going to go ahead and put that as our largest number, 439 and 612 thousandths. And I'm going to line that one out so I don't watch it anymore. Now we still have difference here, but we can see the next largest two are going to be the 2 here and the 2 here. Now we have to actually go down to the next place value to verify which one's larger. And with those two numbers, we can see this is a 1, this is a 6. So 261,000 is going to be our next largest number. 439 and 261,000. And that makes the other 216 our number 3, which is 439, 216. And our final and smallest number is going to be 439 and 126 thousandths. Question number 5. In a paper airplane contest, Marcel's plane travels 3 and 345 thousandths meters. Salvador's plane travels 3 and 335 hundredths meters. Jennifer's plane travels 3 and 3 meters. Based on the measurements, whose plane traveled the farthest distance? Whose plane traveled the shortest distance? Explain your reasoning. Here they already have a place value for us. I'm looking at Marcel's, and I can see he had 3 and 345 thousandths. Salvador's was 3 and 35 hundredths, and Jennifer's was 3 and 3/10. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and put in placeholders so they're all the same. And by doing this, you can see this is 300, this is 345, and this is 350 thousandths. So by reading them, you should be able to tell which one was the largest one. But if you just compare them by digits, you can see this is 3, they're the same. In the tenths, they all have 3 digits, the digit 3, so they're the same. We get to the hundredths, and we can see that this one is our farthest distance, because it's 3 and 350 thousandths of a meter. The next one would be the next longest, which is 3 and 345 thousandths. And our shortest.
Any available custodian, please come to the front office. Any available custodian, please come to the front office.
Our shortest is 3 and 300 thousandths. So, whose plane traveled the farthest distance? We would say that Salvador's plane traveled the longest distance, and Jennifer's plane was the shortest. All right, well, I hope that this helped you, and we will be doing module 1, lesson 7 tomorrow. Bye-bye.